Have you ever wondered if the constant fatigue, that foggy confusion, or the persistent joint pain you've been blaming on old age is actually your body's desperate cry for help against the very pills you take every day? Behind the safe appearance of a prescription, there are hidden culprits silently eroding our clarity and vitality. There is ibuprofen, seemingly harmless painkillers that, day by day, place a crushing strain on kidneys and hearts that have already grown fragile over time. There are benzodiazepine sleep aids that seem peaceful but are actually stealing your balance and luring you into life-altering falls in the middle of the night. Then there are PPIs for the stomach, quietly draining your calcium and magnesium, leaving your bones brittle and weak. Even blood pressure medication, the guardian of your heart, can turn into an enemy, causing dehydration and dizziness if it isn't adjusted for your age. But most terrifying of all is polypharmacy, when you are taking more than 5 medications a day, creating a chaotic chemical battleground inside your body. Don't rush to stop your medication, and please don't panic, but do stop to reflect. There is a truth about medication management that modern medicine sometimes forgets, and it is the very key to reclaiming the clarity and flexibility of your younger years. If you want to know what is truly controlling your body, stay here with me, because what I'm about to share might just be the thing that saves your life and your independence. So, let me invite you to journey deeper into your medicine cabinet, a place where we'll peel back truths that have been right in front of us, often obscured by habit and resignation. When it comes to non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, or NSAIDs like ibuprofen, naproxen, or diclofenac, we often think of the instant relief they bring when our knees creak or our backs ache each morning. For many, they are loyal companions. But through the eyes of a geriatrician, I see a different picture. As we age, our body's biological structure loses the flexibility it had in our 20s. Our kidneys, those sophisticated filters, become more sensitive. Even if effective for pain, these NSAIDs work by altering blood flow to the kidneys and causing the body to retain salt and water. Have you ever noticed your ankles swelling toward the end of the day, or your blood pressure spiking without an obvious reason? That may not be a sign of aging, but rather a reaction to kidneys struggling against the very pills you trust. Moreover, they are master deceivers. By silencing the pain, you inadvertently lose your body's warning system. Pain is how your body tells you something needs attention, like inflammation or degeneration. When we mask that pain without addressing the root cause, we are building a house on a weak foundation. Instead of overusing oral medications, I encourage you to look into topical options like pain relief gels, which act directly on the injured area without taxing your kidneys or heart, thereby significantly reducing the burden on your body. Moving beyond pain relievers, we must discuss another somber chapter for older adults: the battle for sleep and the role of benzodiazepines. I understand the restlessness at night when health worries and family anxieties make a good night's sleep feel like a luxury. Medications like Lorazepam, Diazepam, or alprazolam act like a sedative nod, drifting you off quickly. But the price is often steep. At our age, the liver doesn't flush medication as quickly, leading to accumulation in the body. You wake up the next morning not refreshed, but groggy and dizzy, what we call the hangover effect. Your reflexes slow and your balance is compromised. A fall at 70 is never a small matter. It can be the start of a serious health spiral, from hip fractures to a loss of self-confidence. We need to redefine sleep. It shouldn't be the result of a pill, but the result of a nurtured circadian rhythm. Try reducing blue light at night, creating a cool, quiet sleep environment, and most importantly, work with your doctor to build a slow, patient plan to taper off these medications. The clarity of the next day is worth far more than a few chemically induced hours of sleep. Continuing our survey, let's stop at stomach medications, proton pump inhibitors, or PPIs. I often see you taking these as part of your breakfast routine, like a cup of tea or a slice of toast. These drugs are a revolution for treating acid reflux, reducing that uncomfortable burning sensation in the chest. However, we must understand that the stomach isn't just for digesting food, it's a vital nutrient absorption station. Stomach acid, while seemingly scary when it causes reflux, is essential for absorbing calcium, magnesium, and vitamin B12. When we suppress stomach acid for too long, we unintentionally block the flow of these vital nutrients. Your bones, instead of being fortified with calcium, become sparse and brittle. Without enough magnesium, your heart rhythm can become unstable. The irony is that many start taking PPIs for a short-term issue, then continue for years on automatic renewal without ever asking if they still need them. PPI use should be a short-term battle, a pause for the stomach to heal, not a lifelong lifestyle. Talk to your doctor about lowering the dose, using them only when necessary, or adjusting your diet so your digestive system can do its job rather than relying entirely on medication. Finally, we must face a more fundamental issue: blood pressure and heart medications. This is where the difference between youth and old age shows most clearly. At 50, high blood pressure is an enemy to be conquered. But at 75 or 80, our blood vessels are stiffer. Their elasticity isn't what it once was. Blood pressure needs to be just enough to pump blood to the brain and organs. If we take a dosage that was strong enough for a prescription from 10 years ago, blood pressure can drop too low, especially when you stand up suddenly. This is why dizziness is such a common symptom. More frighteningly, you might mistake that dizziness for old age and take another medication to treat that symptom, creating a never-ending cycle. Heart medication saves lives, but it requires continuous fine-tuning and meticulous long-term monitoring. I urge you to become researchers of your own blood pressure. Buy a home monitor. Record your numbers not to cause anxiety, but to see the bigger picture. When you bring that diary to your checkup, it is the most valuable evidence to help your doctor adjust your dosage to match your body now, not the body you had 10 years ago. That is how we take charge of our health, through careful observation and the bond between doctor and patient, rather than simply following outdated instructions. Looking back at these 4 groups of medication, you will see a common thread. They are all incredible tools of modern medicine, yet they carry risks when we are no longer at the age they were designed to serve best. Aging is not a disease to be cured by adding more pills. It is a stage that requires more delicate care. I don't want you to look at your medicine cabinet with suspicion or fear, but with the alertness of a steward auditing their assets. Everything you put into your body has a price, and our job is to ensure that price is worth the benefit. Never hesitate to ask your doctor questions. Never feel like a bothersome patient for asking about a specific pill. Remember, you are the captain of your health ship, and I and other doctors are merely the navigators. What we are doing now is not abandoning medicine, but putting it in its rightful place as a powerful assistant, not the master of your life. Every pill you stop, every dosage you adjust, is a step toward reclaiming your clarity, your flexibility, and above all, your freedom within your own body. This journey isn't easy, but it is entirely worth it, because at the end of the road, what awaits you isn't a long list of medications, but days of living healthy, happy, and fulfilled. And if right now you feel an urge to change, to check everything, congratulations, because real change has already begun with that thought. Let's continue to the final part of this journey, where we will clarify the most important systemic issue that I believe is exactly what you need to focus on solving immediately. But there is a reality even more frightening than the side effects of any single pill: the chaotic resonance that occurs when we are forced to load our bodies with too many medications at once. My dear friends, this is the time for us to face our greatest enemy, a medical concept we call polypharmacy. Imagine your body as a sophisticated ecosystem where everything is naturally striving to maintain balance. When you take 5 or more medications daily, you are no longer just treating an illness, you are inadvertently turning yourself into an unwilling chemical laboratory. In the world of modern medicine, we have extremely detailed studies on individual drugs, but the truth is, we know very little about how those 10 medications will interact with each other when they sit together in the stomach of a 70-year-old. Every pill added isn't just an added benefit, it's an exponential increase in risk. Have you ever felt exhausted, experienced brain fog, or suffered from mood swings only for your doctor to tell you it's just old age? In my experience, many of those cases aren't natural aging, but chemical overload. It is a cruel spiral where one medication causes a side effect and we take another to treat that side effect. Thus, the medicine cabinet fills up, but your vitality fades away. The most dangerous thing about polypharmacy is that it silently steals your independence. It makes you feel weaker, more dependent, and more vulnerable to health setbacks. However, I am here to tell you that health is not always about adding more. Sometimes it lies in the courage to subtract. It is time for a paradigm shift, a revolution in how we think, where we don't view a handful of pills as a sign of care, but rather view reviewing and eliminating what no longer serves us as a victory. Remember, our ultimate goal is quality of life, the clarity to enjoy time with our children and grandchildren, not a perfect list of medications on paper. Don't let pills, which were meant to be your servants, become the masters dictating your tomorrow. We have been on a journey together, one that wasn't easy, but was incredibly necessary. From seemingly harmless painkillers and chemically induced sleep to the quiet fatigue caused by stomach or blood pressure medications, and finally, the dangerous spiral of polypharmacy, taking too many medications at once. My dear friends, medication is truly one of medicine's greatest achievements. It helps us extend our lives and manage disease. However, in our later years, these faithful companions can sometimes become uninvited guests, placing an overwhelming burden on a body that now requires more gentle and delicate care. My core message to you isn't to reject medicine, but to be mindful and alert in how you use it. The goal of medication is to protect your quality of life, to give you more energy, clarity, and mobility to enjoy these precious years with your loved ones. When pills become the cause of your fatigue, forgetfulness, or unsteadiness, they are no longer fulfilling their purpose. The deepest lesson here is proactivity. Your health shouldn't be left entirely to prescriptions that are automatically renewed every month. You must be the captain, the one who knows best how your body's vessel is operating. Shift from a passive role of just taking what's prescribed to an active role of discussing with your doctor. The best way to apply this in your daily life is to conduct a medicine cabinet audit. Gather everything prescriptions, over-the-counter drugs, vitamins, and supplements into a bag and bring them to your next appointment. Don't hesitate to ask your doctor direct questions. Can I stop taking any of these? Or could these side effects be caused by a combination of my medications? When you dare to ask questions, you are truly taking control of your health. Change doesn't always lie in grand gestures. Sometimes just lowering a dosage or adjusting a habit can make you feel younger, clearer, and more energized. Now that we've taken this look together, I'd love to hear from you. How many medications are you currently taking each day, and have you ever questioned the necessity of any of them? Please share your stories in the comments below. Your experiences not only help us understand better, but serve as invaluable lessons for others in similar situations. If you found this helpful and want to continue this journey with me toward better health, please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next discussion. Your support is the greatest motivation for me to continue researching and bringing valuable content to our community.